Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. The Cathedral Church of the Holy Trinity is the mother church in the Anglican Diocese of Trinidad and Tobago and was consecrated for worship on Trinity Sunday on the 25th of May in 1823. This weekend, the Anglican community will come together to celebrate the 200th anniversary in a grand service at the Queen's Park, Savannah. Now, joining us this morning are Dr. Phaedra Prayer, the chairperson of the 200th Anniversary Committee of the Holy Trinity Cathedral, and the Most Right Reverend Honourable Stephen Coltrell, Archbishop of York. Good morning to both of you and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning, Natasha. Great to be here.
It's wonderful to have you both with us this morning for a very busy weekend, to say the least. So on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago, I know you would have been welcome, but welcome to our sweet island.
It's lovely to be back.
It's wonderful to have you back because we were discussing a little bit earlier, just before we get into the conversation of the 200th celebration, that you are no stranger to Trinidad and Tobago. You're an honorary Trini, as we love to say, and have built a fantastic relationship over the years. How has that been?
Yes, well, I'm now the Archbishop of York in England, but I used to be for 10 years the Bishop of Chelmsford, which has a long-standing partnership link with the Anglican Diocese of Trinidad and Tobago. And Bishop Claude, the current bishop, became bishop here round about the same time I became Bishop of Chelmsford. We've become good friends. So I've visited here before, he's come over to England. We've tried to do things together as our two dioceses. And the Christian church is a worldwide church, and we've got so much to learn from each other. And of course, the big challenges that face our world are the same in England as they are in Trinidad and Tobago. How do we live in this planet in a just way, in a way that respects the earth? We've got much to give to each other, much to learn from each other. So it's been a very rich and fruitful partnership. Back home, they think I'm a bit mad coming to Trinidad for the weekend.
Yeah.
But when I knew about the 200th anniversary and Bishop Claude and others very kindly invited me out, the only way it worked in my diary was just to come for a few days. So here I am, very happy to be back. I'm very much looking forward to Sunday, which I think will be a tremendous celebration, both of the presence of the church here and now in this great country, serving this country, bringing it the good news it needs, but also a celebration of a history and a continuity with the past, because the cathedral has been such an important part of this island's life.
It really, really has. I mean, the history is something that is so fascinating for those of us who are just passers-by, or perhaps we go to church. We witness it, but we don't experience, I think, in some ways, as you said, the history behind it. And we're looking forward to a very fruitful conversation this morning as well, because the doctor joining us this morning, we spoke a little bit earlier about some of the preparations and some of even the artifacts. But before we get into the artifacts, how are the preparations going?
The celebrations have been wonderful thus far. It started a year ago, and with our glimpses of the cathedral, so 5-minute kinds of reflections from all sorts of people, from priests to young people, just their ideas of their experience at the cathedral. And we do that, we release that on our social media every month on the 25th. Since the first date was May the 25th. We kept it up for the past year. On every 25th of the month, we'll release a glimpse. But also, as part of the celebrations, we've been having a hamper drive. So our aim is to collect enough items for 200 hampers that will be distributed probably like the end of June. And we've also launched a national blood drive, because we understand that the blood bank is very low on supplies. And we want to encourage people not only to give for this occasion, but to become regular blood donors, because, they always say 1 pint can save 3 lives and impacts 3 families. So we want to encourage people, particularly Anglicans, but not only Anglicans, to become regular donors to the blood bank.
There are 2 things that you mentioned there. The first thing would have been May 25th, and we've been focusing on the date of 1823. And from what you shared a little bit earlier, there's actually a bit more history to that. Can you share a bit with us of that?
Correct. So 1823 marks the date that the church was consecrated on the present location on Abercrombie Street. However, the first Anglican church, called Trinity Church, was really founded in 1801 on the corner of Prince and Frederick Streets. And it was a mission to the soldiers and sailors that were in the island. What happened, and it's a wonderful little story, one of the council members awoke late at night, went to the outhouse with a flambeau, and fell asleep. And that was what generated the Great Fire of Port of Spain in 1808, which destroyed 90% of Port of Spain. So after that, and of course the church was one of the buildings that was consumed by fire. After that, the next site was actually in Brunswick Square, which we now know as Woodford Square. And they started to build. They went all the way up to the walls, and then the burgesses of Port of Spain decided, you can't build in our recreation space. At that point in time, Sir Ralph Woodford was becoming governor, and he decided we have to have an Anglican church. So the authorities in England couldn't give us all of the money.
Right.
And therefore he organized with some of his friends in England to get the resources and got that spot that we're on now, 38 Abercrombie Street. And the construction started there in 1815, 1816, around there. And by the time it was completed, it was consecrated on May the 25th, 1823. So we're doing the 200 years, but it's really more than 200 years that Trinity Church has served the island of Trinidad.
That's incredible. And it's incredible to also see the fact that there's this continued, of course, relationship or ongoing relationship with the UK, along with Trinidad, and of course, as you mentioned, Archbishop, with the Christian community as a whole. So as we mentioned a little bit earlier, there were diocese companions between Trinidad and Tobago and where you were. How does it feel to come back as Archbishop?
Well, it's a huge honour for me, and I come bringing the greetings, first of all, of the Archbishop of Canterbury, but I think of the whole Anglican communion. The Anglican Church, which started obviously with missionaries going out from England, and was very much tied in with empire and Commonwealth, and I recognise we have a difficult story. That story contains horrors. For which we are deeply sorrowful. But I think as Christians we're always looking forward. And my hope is that, yes, of course, we're celebrating 200 years. It's worth celebrating. It's an amazing story. But really what we're concerned is a better future. A better future for the human race, a better future for the earth, a better future for this island. And the Anglican Communion is a federation of national churches. We're equal partners. And so I come here, yes, I hope to give and to share, but I know I also come to receive and to learn. That's I think, what I've most learned from my partnership, particularly with Bishop Claude, but with others, is that I think for all people in positions of leadership and responsibility, you have much to learn from each other. So I like to think of the churches of the Anglican Communion as this huge learning community where there's this rich diversity of experience and voices with a shared history.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be amazing to see all of this come to life and be celebrated in the culmination, of course, of the Queen's Park Savannah on the 4th of June.
Yes.
So share with us a little bit about what's going to be taking place, Doctor.
Okay. So we chose June the 4th because that's Trinity Sunday. In 1823, May the 25th was Trinity Sunday. So we're celebrating 200 years from Trinity Sunday in 1823 to Trinity Sunday in 2023. We will be gathering at the Savannah. The service starts at 10 a.m. But before the service, we are going to have our praise music, to get people in the mood, to set the atmosphere. and then the service starts at 10. We will have a procession with lots and lots of people. As I said, we're on a 200 kick, right?
Yes.
So we have a music collection of 200 individuals, voices, steel, and other instruments, 200. We have a contingent of almost 200 liturgical dancers. And then the rest of the procession will also include our young people, will include our lay ministers, will include students from our schools. So we will have that grand procession, ending, of course, with the bishop and archbishop at the end of the procession. And then we will have the regular service. We are very pleased to say that we are introducing pieces from 2 new masses written by locals. So it will be the first time that it will be out there in the public. Our musicians have been practicing and getting ready to get familiar with the music, but a new Kyrie, a new Our Father, a new, new settings, as I said, by local artists. And after the service, traditionally, our diocesan family day would be on Corpus Christi. And Corpus Christi is just 4 days after.
It is.
So we brought it forward, and we said, okay, we'll have all of the celebrations at one time.
I mean,
so
it's definitely going to be a massive celebration. I'm terribly sorry to cut you, but we have run out of time.
Okay.
And there is so much more that we could talk about with these celebrations. Archbishop, I know you have an incredibly jam-packed calendar, and hoping that you're going to be able to just, I know you will, you'll sail through everything. God's with you, and God is with you as well, and the entire team of definitely over 200 people.
Thank you. And just to say, everyone is welcome to this. That's the main message. This is for the whole of the island.
And it's so beautiful because we're seeing that theme of inclusion from you as well, speaking about, the blood drive and the fact that it's a place that we can all come, we can share, and we can celebrate in Christian community as well.
Amen.
Archbishop, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Phaedra, thank you so much. Trinidad and Tobago, this is the place to be on Sunday. Come out and celebrate our history, our spirit, our God, and so much more. We'll be back. This is the Now Morning Show.
Give praise, children.